Welcome to the bold analysis. I want to give you so far what's happening in Kenya. So, if you want to keep yourself abreast of what so far is going on across the country, I know not all of us are actually watching TV. So, we'll give you a clear update, and according to information that has come that we're also trying to divulge, is on a critical meeting, or rather, a meeting that Raila Odinga Azimio top leadership is holding as they see the next phase of this in the afternoon. And so we are going to look at the options that are on table for them as police continues to cordon Nairobi's CBD. Of course, this was an expectation that the protest would actually take charge, would actually gather the protesters would gather in town, but that has not yet been seen. So this so far, what's happening? As new supporters block the road in Mathare, Nairobi, and engage in running battles with the police that surround the airbase. Now, in Kisumu, Professor Nyang' Nyong'o and his deputy Matthew Owili led peaceful demonstrations along the street. But we also saw in Kisumu that around Kisumu girls roundabout, Kisumu boys roundabout, the police really engaged with the protesters there, but they managed to light some bonfires there. Same to Kibra. A protester in Kisumu, protester walks to police station. Police officers at Kisumu Boys High School roundabout with the 3-year-old son. They were both draped in towels and carried a banner written Azimio, say no to high cost of living. Now, in Kibra, protesters managed to light tires on the fire on the road at the center of the road as they march towards the CBD. They're trying. Actually, what's happening here is, the police have not given a clear. They are not given a clear way on Raila Odinga's next course of action, and I think journalists have also been trying to ask the new leadership on what next or where the protest is going to be held, which way. But the ODM, but the Raila Odinga team, the Azimio team, they did not give clarity, and probably the protesters are just heading back to the KCC as was before. And I want to believe that was because they didn't want the plan to be intercepted. Now, in Migori, protesters closed roads in Migori, including Migori-Isebania Road. As the Azimio protest gathers steam countrywide, protesters also chanted slogans there. Barricades were placed also on the processional way leading to State House and Waiyaki Way. Police officers were spotted in Kibra and Nairobi Central Business District trying to keep vigil there. Anti-riot police also blocked the State House way. Police trucks were deployed along different ways with roads with the armory. So far, no update from Raila Odinga's residence. There were still barricades there, and there is no information whether he's there. Journalists were there trying to maybe keep abreast of him, find out on his whereabouts, but that has not been revealed. There were little activities as his home, as a few cars were captured approaching the barricade. The media was not allowed past the roadblock, mounted a few meters away from the former Prime Minister's gate. So one thing is happening. I think after police managed probably to control, block protesters from CBD, there's some few shops around the Nyamakima area. Remember, Raila Odinga was there yesterday, and they've tried. Of course, some few shops have opened, but it's turning out that the plan to repulse the protesters out of town, while it's being managed, but I'll try to look at that probably in my next analysis. However, on this one, we are almost to midday, and the Azimio team are grilled in a meeting to try to find out what's the next course of actions or what are the options on table. Probably learning at what happened last weekend, and successfully they tried to access town from Serena, and their way was blocked by the police. That seems to be the real. That seems to be still the situation moving forward, and they're not there yet to give clarification or rather on what next course of action. I think there is an option, and from what I see from where they are, they have a way of probably going, instead of going to town, making their way probably to address a meeting in one of the suburbs. Now, last week they were in the Eastlands, so probably they can't choose to go to the other side. And on Sunday, that was yesterday, Raila Odinga, I think, was around the Jacaranda here. He held a service around in around the church around Greenspan. So if you ask me, one of the options is probably to go the other side of Westlands or the other side of Kibera and address protesters there, or even make another tour of Nairobi CBD. I don't know whether that will then turn out to be another push and pull or other running battles between protesters and the police, as was in the past. But probably one of the options on table from that meeting would be to make sure that they give a clarity in terms of what they can do, even going to the other side. Last, the second part that I also see is, or one other outcome of such a meeting would be on, is there potential or potential of an arrest? Let me say, as we talk now, Nuro Kanga and Gaucho and some other three, I think now there are three gentlemen, are still being still under the DCI. They were supposed to be produced in court probably today or tomorrow, but that has not yet been done. I think there is no court session because of the Monday protest. There are also dozens of protesters that were arrested some time back, and they were in industrial area. They were supposed to be produced in Makadara in court for maybe some hearing. Probably they're going to be released. But then that also shows you that even the Raila Odinga team, any attempt to arrest would be an climax, an early climax to it, because then what happens in that context? Number two, they're also looking at it as, I've always said that if Raila is to be arrested, or rather the arrest discussion is to go on, then it's going to affect many other factors. So probably they're also looking at it that way, that which is the best way first to avoid such an arrest, or rather to speak about what so far, how they can manage themselves, so that do they head to find which way do they take, and which way do they take that can avoid arrest, because arrest will be anti-climax. Number two, arrest can also escalate. And I think Raila Odinga team are a bit tactical, because they have realized, and that's one thing we've been saying, that the fellas that are in the security team and those who are now in the country are not interested in anything, and they're not the team that wants ceasefire. They're actually the team that wants violence. So Raila Odinga will not want to put himself in a situation where then he becomes a catalyst to what these people want. From when you talk to people, you realize that they're not looking at what really needs to be done. People seems to be going after violence. That's what people want to see. They're not interested in a bit of that ceasefire. So I think that's number two. Then the third thing that I can look at in that meeting probably is on the messaging so far about the morning, on what so far has been done. Probably they're also supposed to give direction, because I remember this could not be done, and probably within their own intelligence, they realized that when they reveal that information as early, the police become very strategic and would even successfully suppress any attempt to hold a protest. So they will do messaging probably if they give a presser, because that's what I understand is coming. They might give a press briefing from their location, and that would be on maybe so far the day, what's the next course of action, what's their recourse, and probably where they are. And someone was saying that Raila is in Mombasa. I don't think, no. I don't think he's in Mombasa, because moving to Nairobi will be even a challenge. So for me, if you ask me, I think it's just within Nairobi. And one of the things they would also want to come out and say what so far has gone wrong, or the progress so far by midday. So that meeting also is supposed to look at the overview of the whole thing. We know that they have been saying, and of course, the protest today came in the backdrop of a statement that it's illegal, it's banned. Probably they might also plan to go to court to challenge such an illegality so that moving forward, going into Thursday, they can have a legal bearing in it. That's my bold.